Hey there, excited to show you my new Seaguar fishing line. This is my shipment that came in, this big box here. It's got everything I need for this upcoming year. Seaguar has a lot of different levels of line and different just kind of branding of it. So I wanted to go over with it to you and show you a little bit about it, what I like to use when, and kind of some new things I'm going to try out. So let's start with my tried and true. This is what made me fall in love with Seaguar forever ago, is the Seaguar and VizX. You can see these are a little smaller 600-yard spool lines. They come in 1,000. You can also buy them in just like a standard 200-yard spool. So depending on how much you use, you can kind of save some bulks. When you buy them in bulk, you can save a little bit of money there, which is nice. And these 600 are nice because they're real small. They can transport real well. So these ones I get in a 12, 15, 17, and 20. It's kind of my all around. I'm using these on my bait casters for the most part. That's kind of where I'm going with for my moving baits. They're really well versed for that. So that's where I use my Seaguar and VizX. Let's see what the next. Let's go with the top of the line next. We're going with our Seaguar Tatsu. This is 22 and 17, you can see. The 22, that's heavy line. It's built really well. It's got super abrasion resistant. It's high quality. It's the top of the line stuff they make. I'm gonna be using this when I'm pitching in that real thick, gnarly wood. If I'm pitching into a lay down around docks, to where I like to have fluorocarbon versus braid. If I'm fishing in the grass, that's when I'll switch over to the braid typically. But 22-pound Seaguar Tatsu, gonna wanna check that out this year, along with the 17-pound. Those are going on my flipping setups for the most part. The next I have, these are a little bit smaller of the Tatsu. Instead of getting 1,000 yards, I'll get 200s. Those are just good for kind of storing. I can take 1 or 2 packs, but I have that in the 15. I got 20-pound. Kind of just all the same sort of setups I would have for the VizX, but it just lets you feel a little bit better and it's a slightly higher quality. So that was kind of my setup with the Tatsu. Let's see what we got next. This is one that I haven't used a whole lot, and I always hear great things about it, and that is the Seaguar VizX. You can see this, I got an 8-pound. These are all 200-yard spools. I got one of each size just to kind of play with it a little bit more this year. I haven't spent a lot of time with the VizX. Everybody says like when you're fishing around those zebra mussels and things that are really kind of grinding on your line, the VizX is where you want to go with. So I'm going to give it a shot this year. I'll follow up with you and let you know how it goes, where it stands in my future lineups, how I use it, whatnot. The next thing we can go to is, we'll go with the braid first. So here's 15-pound Seaguar Flash Green. This is what I use to put on my spinning rods. You put some backing on there. It can be old line, it can be whatever you have, something cheap they don't use. Then you fill it up. These come in 150 yards. So I'll take about 75 yards. I'll actually either walk it off or sometimes you can reel it in. You can kind of get a general idea, it'd be about roughly 75. So you can put it on 2 different spools. You don't need to use 150 yards on one. You can split it up. And then another trick I have is that you halfway through the year when it starts to fade or something like that, you'll flip it around, take it off one reel, put it on the other, so you have the fresh stuff on top. But that's 15-pound Flash Green. I like to, you can see it. I also will throw 20 on my spinning rod. Sometimes it just depends on the situation, if I need something a little heavier or not. The next one, let's see, we got 65-pound. Same stuff, smack around, but this is in stealth gray, so it's a little bit of a lighter color. It's really invisible once you get it around grass. That's why they make it in that stealth gray color. 65 for flipping. I have a pack of 50 that I like to throw with like top water, or if I'm throwing a swim jig or something like that. It casts a little bit better than the 65 does. It's a little bit thinner, still super strong. You don't have to worry about anything like that. And then I'll also throw 40 occasionally. Same thing, top water if I want to cast it a little bit further, or just like throwing a swim jig when it's not quite as heavy of cover. What else do we got in here? All right, so Seaguar Gold Label. These are 25-yard spools, so it's a shorter amount of line, but this is like really high quality. You don't have to worry about breaking off with this. When you put it on, I'll put my flash screen, braid leader, then I'll main line, and then I'll attach my fluorocarbon leader. Sorry about that. And I'll just strip that off into usually about 12-foot sections, so I get 2 out of each one of these. It comes in, I have it in 10, 6, 8, and I get 12 as well. That kind of just covers me for what I use for when I'm using it on a spinning rod. I don't go with the heavier stuff, because usually when I'm flipping, I won't go with a braid to fluorocarbon leader, just personal preference. I like to go either straight fluorocarbon or straight braid. So I kind of have a mix of all that. A couple new things that came this year is Seaguar 101. It's a braid and fluoro kit. It's kind of comes in 10, 15, and 20 is what I got here. It's just a newer line. It's a little bit on the cheaper side, so it's more affordable, cost effective to buy if you want to go that route. And I got Seaguar 101 performance line. This is fluorocarbon. It's a 12 and a 15. There was something else I wanted to try this year, a little bit different. But for the most part, I'm sticking with my Tatsu and VizX. I'm gonna try that at Braid X this coming year. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I love talking line with you. And if you do me a huge favor, please subscribe.